In the novice stage, you're using a document-centric solution. So maybe you have engineers, maybe you have marketeers, maybe you have your folks in e-learning and training creating content. But the greatest business issue that exists in the document-centric stage is that you have findability issues and you lack the ability to reuse. And that really is the value proposition: reuse and findability. Because the knowledge workers that represent, in fact, half of the time, according to IDC, of knowledge workers' 40-hour work week, fully 20 hours, is spent looking for world-class content that they can repurpose, reuse to solve the business issue that they're looking to resolve. In stage 2, the emergent stage, the real key here is reuse and findability. How does that happen? There's something called component content architecture. And when you componentize your content, rather than documentize, if that's a word, your content, what you're really doing is you're turning it into relevant pieces of information that can be found and repurposed. This is really what creates the universal reuse, which drives the value proposition associated with stage 2. In fact, using a componentized approach, it's actually possible to reuse 90% of your content in key strategic areas and up to 70% in other areas. Imagine if 1/2 of the time of a knowledge worker's time is spent just finding that information, and then if they had best practice content to be found quickly and reused, they knew the percentage of fit, they knew where it had been used before, even the way that it had been published before. Imagine having that at your fingertips to solve this business issue. So stage 2, just stage 2 of this 4-phase maturity capability has tremendous business value. But there's more in stage 3. Stage 3 is enterprise-wide use. Enterprise-wide use through multi-publishing capabilities. So the same content that's created in one place can be published, for example, to PDF. It can be published to Word, to web, to XML, to HTML, to mobile, to satisfy the requirements of the specific use cases. Further, in stage 3, what you start to do is you start to create, even beyond ROI, you start looking at the net present value of your investment in your content. You start thinking about the EVA, the economic value add, which means you're looking at how you're obtaining this content minus all the costs, including the cost of capital, to actually create this purpose-built solution that you're now leveraging throughout the enterprise. You have internal rate of return. If you're a financial institution, IRR happens to be specialized in that particular vertical. In life sciences, for example, they use something called NPV, but they add an E to the front of it. It's ENPV. So that's risk-adjusted net present value of your investment. You can quantify the investment that you're making to get to this stage, and the economics of it are phenomenal. And for those of us that are like me, where all these financial metrics don't mean anything, the best one is what's the monthly cost of indecision, of not having a solution like this. It's the best financial metric because it's simple. That's stage 3. So what's the value of stage 4? Stage 4 is when you become fully embedded. What does fully embedded mean? Fully embedded means that you start to realize the value of one enterprise. One Baker Hughes, for example. One HP. What that means is that if you started in the United States, now you're leveraging this same content in Asia, perhaps in Europe. Or if you started in Europe, now you're leveraging it in the Asia Pacific marketplace or back in North America. You're truly experiencing the value of extending it not only throughout your enterprise, but through your partnership network, the supply chain of your content. Think of it in terms of all of your partners being able to leverage this best practice content. Think of it from the standpoint of the four things that content impacts in terms of your business. Top line revenue. How can you improve top line revenue? Faster acquisitions, better and faster integration, faster upsell and cross-sell and product extensions. How about cost reduction? Cost reduction is second. It's a key area. It's bottom line impact because you reduce the number of individuals that you need for creating content. So it's the reviewers, it's the contributors, and it's also the consumers of that content, both inside your enterprise and outside your enterprise. The third area is with productivity. So productivity is soft benefit. No less impactful, but most financial people will say, let's take a look at the hard benefit first. But we can create increased productivity of a minimum of 5% across the board, even for all the people that just touch content that's been created and reviewed by the experts. And fourth is in compliance and safety. Imagine being able to turn compliance and safety into an asset as opposed to something that is just a burden on the enterprise to produce. When you actually get into the fully embedded stage, you're realizing the total benefit of component content, really content that has been purpose-built to be leveraged throughout the organization.